The Black Arts Movement was a period that saw focus be put primarily on the different creative works created by Black artists. The movement began in 1965 and began to dwindle in popularity in 1975, but has not completely faded away. The Black Arts Movement puts an emphasis on the community, whether it be community theater or speaking on subjects that could be seen as relatable to the collective instead of to just a niche group of people. This movement also does not see a heavy focus be put on works of creative and fantastical origins. The art created during this time instead is marked by a dry sense of passion and realism. Writers of this era, such as Amiri Baraka, Audre Lorde, Maya Angelou, Sonia Sanchez, and Etheridge Knight, took influence from the ideals of the Black Power movement. They actively rejected white power structures and fought for the rights of African Americans. Amiri Baraka is credited with the conception and promotion of this movement. Not only did he write poetry, but he was also a known dramatist and novelist. His most famous works are Hymn for Lanny Poo from 1961, Cuba Libre, African Revolution from 1966, and Somebody Blew Up America from 2001. Sonia Sanchez, on the other hand, is a great example of a Black female voice in the movement. She was a poet, dramatist, and novelist, writing both works for adults and children. She's also been a professor at San Francisco State University and Temple University. It is not noted exactly what her most famous works are, but some works she released during the height of this movement are We a Bad People from 1970, Love Poems from 1973, and Homecoming from 1969. Henry Dumas was another prominent figure, whose death before the movement ended displayed the need for loud Black voices. His prominent works were published by writer Toni Morrison posthumously. They are called Play Ebony, Play Ivory from 1974, and Knees of a Natural Man, the selected poetry of Henry Dumas from 1989. He was shot and killed in New York City at age 33 by a cop in a case of mistaken identity. Many pieces of art were created around this time, like plays and books, but most were written by individuals such as those I listed before, who were also poets. There was, though, a large emphasis placed on music, specifically jazz music, and the collaboration between already established jazz musicians and Black nationalists. Jazz was seen as a genre of music that was created by Black people, and it was, unlike its rock and roll counterpart, which was created by Black people and taken by the white man and popularized with little to no credit given to the originators of the art form, but it's cool. I'm sure they're not salty about it or anything. Musicians such as John Coltrane and Thelonious Monk were considered frequent collaborators. Now, I don't mean to discredit this movement in the slightest, because it is a really important one, but just as every rose has its thorns, the Black Arts Movement is not exempt from that. Some of the major works from this period do contain rhetoric in them that can be seen as sexist, homophobic, and even anti-Semitic, but it's not to say that the entire movement is marked by these traits. As well, the advancement of the hypermasculine Black male in the works of these writers often silence the voices of Black females. Overall, yes, the Black Arts Movement did have its issues, but it would be irresponsible, especially in the socio-political climate that we live in today, to discredit a movement that aimed at empowering the historically disenfranchised, just because of some writers that were not politically correct. After all, those, especially in today's society, that are so quick to criticize the mere existence of Black people in the US and Canada are often those who rail against political correctness.